Hey guys, in today's video, I want to discuss our Burnout Reconditioning Cream. This is a product that we use a lot here at Stevens Detailing. It is broadly used by a lot of professional detailers. It can be used by a do-it-yourselfer. Today, I want to get into some pro tips, how you can properly utilize this product, what it is, and how it is effective for your detail arsenal. Let's get into it. All right, let me break down what Burnout is. I call this a reconditioning cream because it's designed for more quicker jobs when you're trying to cut and polish in one step. It is designed specifically to be used in outdoor conditions. Now, we are in my detail shop here at Stevens Detailing. We do use this in the shop, but this is broadly used by a lot of mobile detailers to do polishing jobs right out in the direct sun. Functions very well. It has a true abrasive in it. If you're familiar with our compounds, our classic cut abrasive set that is in that product is the same one that's in Burnout. So this actually has a true correcting ability when you're polishing the paint, and it also creates a nice gloss. So you're getting those two aspects in one product. Thus is why I called it the reconditioning cream. Again, designed for more of a quick, effective solution when you have sold a job, maybe more on a budget, conscientious price point, and you need something effective and still get that job done in a certain time frame. Burnout is your choice. A lot of times, mobile guys, you're out in the sun. You are not typically going to be compounding and polishing a vehicle right out in direct sun, even if you have your canopy up. That's where Burnout comes into play and is very effective in those environments. All right, now let's get into how you would properly utilize the product. So as I get into how to utilize the product, I want to give a couple more comments on particularly mobile guys that would be watching this video. I personally was mobile detailing for 18 years here in Ventura, California. If I was still mobile, how I would utilize Burnout into my lineup is I would pair it with this orange foam pad. This is a service I could offer right out in the elements in the sun. I'd put that on my DA. I'd polish the paint, wipe off the Burnout, and I'd put on a product like our Relock, which is our express ceramic coating, and that is a great budget-friendly package that you're gonna get some incredible results out of the paint as far as like some light correction and extreme high gloss, and then you're gonna get that extra durable protection with the Relock on top of Burnout. Now, Burnout does have some SiO2 in it, so it's going to have some standalone protection, but it's nothing that's gonna last more than a few months. That's why we encourage you to top it with something like our Relock. But you could get really creative with this. You could go Burnout, top it with like our cherry ceramic wax. You could top it with Relock. You could top it with Beadlock Pro or even Beadlock Marine. Just all depends on how you have sold that service. Now again, I'm speaking to those of you out there detailing for profit. I want to give you some tips on how to integrate this in to your system. Now, when would I use Burnout as a standalone product if I was a mobile detailer? Let's say you have a customer, they have a vehicle, it's a lease return, or they're trying to flip it, do a quick sale on the car. They want to get it polished out real quick. You could do Burnout one step as a standalone, wipe it down, maybe finish it off with some detail spray. That would be a very effective, budget-friendly package. You could utilize Burnout as a standalone product. Now, a good, better, best option that you could offer your clients with Burnout. Speaking to the pro detailers out there. Good would be Burnout, polish with Burnout, top it with our cherry ceramic wax. That'd be a good package. Better would be use Burnout, top it with Relock express coating, and then best would be Burnout, top it with either Beadlock Pro or Beadlock Marine. Those are great options that you could offer your clients. That is not going to take a lot of time. You're going to get true results and great protection depending on where their budget's at. You can sell those packages accordingly. Now, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, I want to invite you into the conversation because I'm not just speaking to professional detailers out there with this product. You can take Burnout and you do not have to be intimidated, especially if you've never polished your vehicle before. Burnout, you can pair it with the orange foam. I'm gonna get into a demonstration in a minute here. You could use the DA, polish your paint, get incredible results, and instead of getting all wrapped up and complicated with like an actual ceramic coating, which can be intimidating for a lot of you out there, I would recommend topping the Burnout with something like our Clutch, which is our ceramic spray sealant. It's very straightforward. It's almost impossible to mess up. You can apply it to the whole vehicle, remove it, and that is an incredible two-step process with Burnout topped with Clutch for those of you out there that want to do your own vehicle, and you are going to love the results. So next, let's get into demonstrating the product and how you actually use it. So before I get into the demo, let's go over some questions that you might have. What pad do I use it with? What tool do I use it with? So Burnout can be used with a microfiber pad, foam pad. It can be used by hand, but one option that is very specific when using Burnout is it needs to be used with a DA polisher when using a machine. I do not recommend using this product with a rotary. You are never going to use a rotary polisher and get away with just doing one step and not having some holograms after that step. So that's why I encourage you all to use Burnout with a DA polisher, which is a dual action polisher. So this is actually my DA right here. It's a older model Rupes that I'm actually in love with. It's just Old Faithful. If you ask me what my favorite combo is for Burnout, it would be taking the DA polisher and pairing it with the H2O orange foam pad. That to me is like peanut butter and jelly. Now, when would I use Burnout? With a microfiber pad. And when I say microfiber pad, I'm specifically referencing one pad in particular. Now, it's not limited to that, but for this video, I want to narrow in what we have landed on here at the shop that really is going to be somewhat foolproof for you all when using this product. So I don't want to encourage you to use it with a microfiber cutting pad or a microfiber finishing pad, because those results can really vary when you change up the type of microfiber pad you're using this with. What do I mean by that? Let's say you paired Burnout with a microfiber cutting pad. You are gonna get significant defect removal, but you are gonna leave a lot of haze in the paint, particularly from the aggressiveness of that microfiber pad, which would leave you to have to do some kind of two-step, which is against the whole point of this product. You were trying to do one step, okay? So this is our Tango pad. It's a softer microfiber material. It's basically the H2O foam pad replica with a softer microfiber material on top. If you are curious on this pad, I have done a YouTube video on this pad. You can check that out and get more information on this pad. Now, a question I know you all have is, well, when are you using a Tango and when are you using an orange foam? It's just on light color cars? Not the case all the time. When we have a darker vehicle in and we're doing this one-step package, a lot of times we'll take the Tango pad and we will use that on the hood and the tops of the fenders where the prominent defects are, basically the focal point of the vehicle, because we're doing what we call an enhancement detail, where we're not trying to correct everything, we're trying to enhance. Thus the name reconditioning. We're trying to do a quick reconditioning, keep it within a certain budget for the customer. We will do Tango on the tops again and on the fenders, and then we'll switch to the orange foam, and we will do the orange foam on the middle section, the bottoms, and then we'll quickly run over those top areas. I'm talking just a few minutes, just a quick few passes, just to kind of brighten up those areas and eliminate any light haze left from the microfiber material, still keeping the job within the time frame of a one step. So even though you're thinking, well, you're doing actually two steps, the whole idea is that we're keeping the job within a certain time frame. You professionals out there watching, it's all about time frame matching how much you've sold the job for. So as long as you can get that process within that time frame, that's what matters most. So that's the way we'll utilize the Tango pad on darker color vehicles. So let's get into an actual demo and show you guys how I utilize this product. So I'm gonna shake the product up. Now, being that I have a new pad, we always do what's called priming a pad when a pad is new. Now, with Burnout in particular, being that there's a lot going on in this product, if I use too much, what's gonna happen is it's what I call pad loading. It's gonna load the pad up with product, it's gonna jam up my cycle process, and I'm just not gonna get the right results. So less is more with burnout. I don't wanna use a lot, or you're just gonna be fighting it and it's gonna gum up your pad, and that is what we call pad loading. So to prime this pad, I'm actually gonna go over, I'm gonna grab some of our Shine Mist, which is our clay lube, and I'm gonna give a couple spritzes on this pad, because all I wanna do is moisten the pad surface up, and then I'm gonna apply my dots of Burnout, and that will be how I prime the pad for this product. All right, this isn't some sell on Shine Mist. You do not have to use Shine Mist for this, but I do recommend using a detail spray that doesn't have any like wax in it or ceramic. So that's what Shine Mist is. It's strictly a detail spray designed for clay lube. There's no additives in it. So just a couple spritzes, nothing crazy, and then I'm just kind of rubbing it in. And what that does is it eliminates the dryness of that pad so that it's primed, it's nice and moistened, and then I don't have to overuse product to get this pad primed. Okay, so I'm gonna start. You can do dots, like the face of a clock, like 12, 3, 6, 9. And then I'll do just little stripes. Don't overthink this. All I'm trying to do is get some product on the face of that pad so that it's nice and loaded up and ready for my first pass. Stay with me on this. This is a little technical, but you're gonna find this very helpful. Depending on how big of area I start to polish, that is going to determine my results with the polishing. The bigger area I polish, I'm spreading the abrasives out in this product over a larger area, and I'm reducing the correcting ability of the product. If I shrink the area in that I'm polishing and do a smaller section, I'm enhancing the correcting ability of the product because I'm keeping those abrasives in a smaller area. So that's where discretion comes in. Depending on what you're working on, keep that in mind. If you are trying to get maximum results and you have a vehicle that has a lot of defects in it, but you're still trying to just do a one step, keep the section you're polishing to a smaller section and you're going to enhance those results. So I'm gonna start off in the middle, visually splitting this hood in half. I'm going to probably treat this hood in 4 sections. And that's how I approach any kind of polishing job. I'm splitting the panel into invisible sections so that I know exactly where I'm polishing. Now I can't stress enough, those of you out there watching, depending on how much you've sold the job for, you have to be conscientious of your time. Okay, so that's where if you sold a more budget-friendly job, you might split this hood just in 2 sections and tamp the product out and be more quicker with your passes because you're trying to keep it in the proper time frame with how you've sold the job. Okay, so you see how I just tamped that out? I'm gonna start in that area. Now, online, you see several different methods for spreading product. Being that this product has a diminishing abrasive in it, if I spread the product out by popping the trigger on the tool and I'm putting friction to the product while I'm spreading it out, I'm already breaking down my abrasives and I'm basically working against myself with the results. That is why I do not pop the trigger and spread the product out and then start with my passes. Now, some of you be like, well, hey, if the surface is super hot, how do I do that? Well, you're gonna have to tamp it out in a smaller area and just get into your polishing right away. Because you don't wanna work against yourself and break those abrasives down before you actually plant your tool and start with your passes, okay? I'm gonna be at speed 5. Nice overlapping passes. Now, the slower my arm speed, the more polishing, correcting ability I'm gonna get from the product. The faster my arm speed, the less polishing, correcting ability I'm getting from that product. So you can see now my pad's nice and loaded. So moving into the next section, I don't need to wipe that off. I'm just gonna go 2 dots. Do not need a lot of product. So see this body line? I'm gonna drop the tool. I'm gonna reduce my down pressure so I do not stall the tool. I'm gonna run that body line. Come down here. Usually with burnout, I'm gonna do 2 passes. And a pass to me here at the shop, you can define it however you want, but here at the shop, I define a pass at having my starting point, coming down to the end of that section, going back up to my starting point. I call that 1 pass. So I like to do 2 passes because you start getting into more passes than that. Remember, that's taking time, and the whole goal of this particular job is just to get some light correction, enhance the finish. I'm not doing like a true compound and polish 2-step. So if I'm gonna spend too much time with burnout, I might rethink how I sold the job, because maybe I should be actually doing a compounding step and a polishing step. So just keep that in mind. Now, do it yourself. You're doing this on a Saturday, working on your own vehicle. You can work this as much as you'd like. So if I can get Colby to come in closer with the camera, if you see these little dots forming, that is because the product does have some SiO2 in it, which is a ceramic material. So you're gonna see that happen because that is that ceramic property kind of framing up on the finish. Do not be alarmed by that. Burnout is also not gonna cycle clear, like some compounds would or a polish would. And that is because it also has that SiO2 in it. It's going to almost leave a film like you would see on a wax. So don't be alarmed by that either. I'm gonna do this whole section of the hood, and then I could come back and wipe this off. Now, depending on how hot the surface is, if you're working outside, you probably wanna wipe burnout off sooner, because that sun is gonna start baking that product on the surface. So that's where you're just gonna use your discretion depending on the environment you're using the product in. If it gets a little stuck to the finish during your polishing process, something we like to do is we just take a little bit of shine mist, we'll spritz it on our microfiber towel, and we will wipe the burnout with that. And look at that. You can see how easily it will remove any of it that's kind of bonded and framed up on the finish during your polishing job. See how that kind of starts to cake up a little bit? You could have compressed air and could blow this out. We have a couple different brushes. That's when I like to clean this out. I like to keep my pad really clean during my process with burnout, because being that it has that SiO2 in it, it really wants to pad load on you. I would recommend using a minimum of 2 pads. Then you could use 1 pad on half the vehicle, switch to the other pad and use that on the other half. Could you get away with 1 pad on the whole car? Yes, but you're gonna have a lot of pad load by the time you get halfway around that vehicle, which starts to take away from some of the results. So that's why I recommend using that 2nd pad halfway through the job. So our pad's clean. Let's put on a little bit more product. Now, some polishing tips as I'm doing this, and I have these in other videos. My down pressure is also going to be part of some of the results. So I'm not simply just letting the tool rest on the surface. I am giving a little bit of down pressure. I'm not pushing hard, but I'm weighting my thumb a little bit so that I'm creating some down pressure, because that's increasing my friction, which is going to increase my correcting ability. Then I'll come in here and hit this little section. See how far that product spreads? Now these little tight areas, this is where I'll just drop my speed down, kind of run over those. You could take your hand applicator, use some of these tight areas. If you didn't have a smaller tool, you don't need to feel like you have to buy one. You could cut these in by hand, do a quick polish on those, or you could grab a 3-inch if you have it. Or you could do like I'm doing, I just kind of float my bigger tool over the bulk area of this. And then at the end, I'll cut this little area in by hand while I'm doing like underneath the door handles, because that's a great option for burnout on those tight areas where you can't fit a tool. We'll just take our little hand applicator, get like under the mirrors, under the door handles, these little areas, some areas in the grill where it's real hard to get a tool. That's a quick and easy way to lay the product down. Look, we still got some on the pad. I'm gonna come into this area. Now, need a little bit more, so I'm gonna go 1 dot. So you see how much I'm thinking through how much product I'm applying. I'm not just mindlessly applying 4 dots. Back to speed 5. Nice consistent arm speed. See, I'm not doing this. That's just overworking. Pointless, it's not faster. Another tip, see how this body line kicks up? Instead of just coming straight back with my tool, I'm pulling my wrist up back here and angling my tool on that body line. And being that I'm using foam, there's no issue with it making contact with this body line. I'm using a DA polisher. I do not have to worry about it, causing any kind of burning on those seams. Look, great example. See, it got kind of sticky on me right there. That's that SO2 framing up. Little spritz of shine mist. That is one of the biggest, or not biggest, but it's probably one of the main comments we get on Burnout is, hey, I'm using it and it's like sticking to the paint. Well, think about it. You have that SO2, which is ceramic-based material in the product. You're out in the elements, and then you have the heat that is coming from the pad, and that heat is just framing that ceramic material onto the surface. That's why you fight it a little bit when you're wiping it off if you don't have some kind of lubricant to break it. Now with this product and the nature of the type of jobs that we're using this on, when we go to top it with something, we are not wiping it down with throwback, because then we're stripping off the SO2 that is in Burnout. We're kind of working against ourselves. So when we're using Burnout, we're just removing the Burnout, and then you can go right into the protection you want to put on top. Now, the only catch to that is that if you're topping Burnout with one of our actual ceramic coatings like Pro or Marine, that's where I take some of our throwback, which is our paint cleanser, which removes like any kind of oils or any kind of barrier that would prevent proper bonding. I would do a light mist of throwback on your towel and just lightly wipe over the surface. I would not go real heavy with that product, because then you're leaving the primer that's in Burnout, which is gonna frame up and partner really well with the actual pro grade ceramic coating that you're gonna top this with. So if you look at this side that I just got done polishing, I'm hoping you guys can see that on the camera, but we have a lot better clarity, and then it cleared up just some of that real light water staining that's on this side. And as you guys saw, that was just 2 quick passes. Better clarity, our gloss is better on this side, and as you saw in that demo, that was just a couple minutes. I did this entire side of the hood. So if I wanted to spend maybe 5 more minutes on this hood, you can imagine what the results would be. Or think about if I got the Tango out, if this was in worse condition, and did that same method with the Tango, and then followed it with a quick couple passes with that foam to clear up any haze left with the Tango, we would have incredible results. So I'm sure that gave you a great window into Burnout Reconditioning Cream. I know that's a ton of information, but I like to be real thorough and break down products like this that have a lot of different angles and uses to them, so you guys get a really good understanding on how this product fits into our arsenal here at Stevens Detailing, how it can fit into your arsenal, especially as a mobile detailer, or in shop when you are wanting to offer more of an express polishing service, or a do-it-yourselfer that is maybe intimidated by all these multiple compounding steps and needs something very straightforward, you're seeing now this is your go-to product. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that helped. Leave us a comment, question, call us, hit us up. We're happy to help. We'll see you next time.